Alright, we recently posted a massive video comparing the best 14-inch laptops. We were super impressed by Lenovo's new Slim Pro 9i, the 14-inch that is. We felt it was the best small Windows laptop. It ended up coming in second to the MacBook Pro 14. But after listening to your feedback on my scoring and making some adjustments, the margin between the two narrowed. Well, after using the larger 16-inch Slim Pro 9i for the last week and absolutely loving it, I was super keen to see if it can finally topple the MacBook Pro 16 and become the best laptop for those looking for a high-performance premium one. That is for people who don't need high-end gaming graphics. Anyway, to compare these two, I'm going to use the same scoring that I did in that prior video, a score out of 5 for each category. But as I said, in this one, I'm going to adjust how I score them, and I'm going to include pricing. Let's start with look and feel. Both the Mac and the Lenovo are very well constructed. There is minimal to no screen and keyboard flex. The MacBook Pro 16 looks better. It looks slicker and more modern. But the Slim Pro 9i has rounded edges, which makes it more comfortable to use. The edge of the laptop just doesn't bite into your wrist like it does on the MacBook Pro 16. I'm going to give the Mac a score of 5 and the Lenovo a score of 4, as the sharper edge issues of the MacBook is really only an issue in certain use cases, like using the laptop where you don't have support for your arms, such as on an airplane. When it comes to portability, both the Mac and the Lenovo are great. Honestly, any laptop under £5 for the performance that these two offer is phenomenal. I'm going to give the Mac a score of 5 though, and the Lenovo a score of 4. The Mac is a tad lighter, and it can run at its full performance using a smaller charging brick. The displays on both laptops are literally perfection. Both are mini LED panels. They are bright, color accurate, super crisp with a high resolution, and they offer fast refresh rates, making movement on screen look very smooth. The Lenovo has a better display, as on paper it is brighter and you don't have a notch wasting some screen real estate. But I could comfortably see more content on screen on the Mac. macOS and Apple's incredible font rendering just does a better job of optimizing screen real estate than Windows. So both laptops are getting the full 5 points. Both laptops also have great keyboards, but the Lenovo's is noticeably better. Its keyboard feels significantly deeper and more luxurious to type on. Its key presses are also quieter, so they will be less disturbing in an office environment. Plus, for those weird people who like number pads, this one has one. So a score of 5 for the Slim Pro 9i and a score of 4 for the MacBook Pro. The trackpads on both laptops are top-notch. Normally, mechanical trackpads like the one in this Lenovo lose accuracy as you click in the left and right corners, but not this one. It is really accurate. But compared to the Mac, the tracking just doesn't feel as natural. So I'm going to give the Lenovo a score of 4 and the Mac a score of 5. When it comes to ports, the Mac is almost perfect. You've got 3 Thunderbolt ports that all support charging. In fact, you can charge the laptop on either side, which is convenient. You've also got an HDMI 2.1 port and a fast UHS 2 SD card reader. The only thing missing, of course, is legacy USB-A ports. The Slim Pro 9i just stumbles here. Yes, unlike the Mac, you do have 2 USB-A ports, but the Lenovo only has 1 Thunderbolt 4 port, its HDMI port is the older 2.0 version, and its SD card reader is significantly slower. It appears to be a UHS Type 1 one. Honestly, this is extremely disappointing. Its smaller sibling, the Slim Pro 9i 14-inch, has much better ports. It has a second USB-C port, its HDMI port is 2.1, and it has a much faster SD card reader. So I'm going to give a score of 4 to the Mac and a score of 3 to the Lenovo. Oh, by the way, some people have reported that this 16-inch version of the laptop, its Thunderbolt port doesn't support USB-C charging. It definitely does. My model had no problems charging with my 100-watt USB-C charger. I'll place a link to my favorite chargers down in the description below. The MacBook Pro 16 just still dominates when it comes to laptop speakers. I'm still yet to hear any laptop speakers that match it. Its sound is just clearer and it has a much wider frequency response. You can really hear the whole track without the bass being cut off. The Slim Pro 9i 16 does have very good speakers, but there is still a noticeable difference. So, a score of 5 to the Mac and a score of 4 to the Lenovo. Let's talk processor performance. The Slim Pro 9i is faster. It performs similar to the Mac in Geekbench, which tests a variety of common performance tasks, but it outperforms it in Cinebench, which tests how the laptop performs under full load. Even during a 10-minute torture test, the Slim Pro 9i's performance still beats the Mac. And that's factoring in the performance dropping in order to keep the processor cool. I'm going to give the Lenovo a score of 5 and the Mac a score of 4. When it comes to graphics performance, both laptops have powerful graphics capabilities. The Mac can be spec'd up to a 38-core GPU, and the Slim-Pro 9i16 in the USA can be found with up to an RTX 4060. I'm going to give the Slim-Pro 9i a score of 4, as the 4060 is definitely good enough to play AAA titles on. The Mac I'm going to give a score of 4 to as well. Although most AAA games aren't available for it at all, it does perform superbly well in video editing compared to Windows laptops. FYI, this score in particular you may want to change to suit your use case. I put a link to my scoring sheet down in the description, so you can just download it and change the score. By the way, back on the Lenovo, it doesn't have a mux switch or advanced Optimus in case you're wondering. When we look at heat and fan noise, this is where the efficiency of the MacBook Pro's M2 processor just really shines. It requires so little power for the performance it offers. This means it runs significantly cooler and quieter than Intel and AMD laptops, as there is just less heat to dissipate. For light tasks, it is dead silent and feels cool to the touch. The Slim-Pro 9i actually does exceptionally well here too. For browsing the web, responding to emails, and using Office, it remained comfortably cool to the touch at all times. Occasionally, you would hear the fans going, but it was at a very low volume and it wasn't high-pitched, so it just wasn't that disturbing. For high-performance tasks, the Lenovo still felt cool to the touch and the fan noise was pretty reasonable, so long as you run it on the default balance mode and not the performance mode. I strongly suggest you do that, as you don't lose that much performance and the lower fan noise and heat you feel is significant. I'm going to give the Mac a perfect score of 5 and the Slim-Pro 9i a score of 4, as it really does do very well when it comes to heat and fan noise. When running on battery, the Pro 9i maintains its excellent performance, but its battery life is where it just collapses in a heap. In our 4-hour battery test, where we dimmed both screens to 200 nits and played a Netflix movie on repeat over Wi-Fi, the Mac annihilated the Lenovo. It had a whopping 84% remaining, compared to the Lenovo's 37%. So the Mac should get 24 hours in this use case. The Lenovo will get you a bit over 6. These Intel processors just aren't efficient enough to be competitive. I'm going to give a perfect score of 5 to the Mac and a score of 3 to the Lenovo. The Mac, as you know, isn't upgradable at all, which sucks. But you can spec it out with some crazy upgrades like 96GB of memory and 8TB of storage. The Slim-Pro 9i at least lets you access 2 SSD slots, although memory and Wi-Fi is soldered. I'm going to give the Lenovo a score of 3 and the Mac a score of 2. Finally, pricing. This laptop can be had for $1,800 at Costco for the RTX 4050 model, and $2,150 at Best Buy for the RTX 4060 model. The MacBook Pro 16 starts for around $2,500, and that's for a model with 16GB of memory and a paltry 512GB of storage. For a comparable model with the M2 Max chip, 32GB of memory, and 1TB of storage, be prepared to spend $3,500. I'm going to give the Mac a score of 2. The only reason I'm not giving it a 1 is because its entry model can be found on sale for around $2,300, and for many people that may be enough. Plus, I'm reserving that score of 1 for the Razer Blade 16, which starts at $2,700 and they charge $600 additional to upgrade from 16GB of RAM to 32. But I digress. I'm giving the Slim-Pro 9i a score of 4, as it is pretty decent value. And although I won't give a score for webcams, as I just don't think that's a major decision point for most people, I do want to note, both these laptops have great webcams. The Slim-Pro 9i has a 5MP one which allows 1440 resolution recording. Alright, let's wrap. As I said, I went into this video really thinking we had a MacBook Pro 16 competitor on our hands. And even though Lenovo did trip at the finish line in taking the win, it scored 52 points versus the Mac's 55, I still think for a ton of people, this laptop is a viable, if not better choice. And when I say trip at the finish line, what a shame that Lenovo didn't put in the same fast ports and extra USB-C that the 14-inch version has. That plus a larger battery and it would have gotten the same score as the Mac. Don't get me wrong, I do think the MacBook Pro 16 is a better laptop. If you remove the pricing category, for example, you can see it stretch its lead a bit. But as I was saying, a lot of people are going to prefer this Lenovo laptop instead. In fact, it's my pick for anyone just looking for an excellent, premium, quality 16-inch laptop that performs really well and doesn't cost the ludicrous amounts of money that the MacBook or even worse, a Razer Blade does. For example, software developers will love this laptop. It has a fast processor, great keyboard, feels very cool to the touch, doesn't have much fan noise, you can run Linux, and you can do AAA gaming in your downtime. What you're missing out on though, if you do get this laptop over the Mac, is you just won't see as much content on screen. The battery life, of course, is pretty bad, and you don't get access to the ludicrous amounts of memory available on the Mac. Well, that's all for today, folks. What did you think of this laptop? Let me know with a comment below. Make sure to smash the like button and get subscribed. It shows your appreciation for the insane amount of effort spent making these videos, and as I always say, it makes my mother very proud. Till next time, go do something awesome with your day, and I will catch you later.